Welcome to layout video update number 2 for my very first model railroad that I'm doing a monthly document series on the progress of construction. Got a couple of things to touch on that I've been working on since I made the last video last month, and we'll get right into what we've been working on. One of the things I mentioned I was going to do last month was cut off this corner here where I had some issues, tight clearance between the door and the right angle of the layout here. So it's kind of wasted space. There wasn't going to be much to do in terms of operation and not necessarily the most interesting scenic area. So we put the curve in here, jigsawed off that part of the layout, and the clearance really is pretty nice now. You can fit through there no problem. Don't even have to think about it. I didn't quite measure the width of the aisle through there, but from eyeball test, I'd say it's at least 20 inches. It might be a solid 24. Really, there's no issue moving through there at all. Now, so you can see in addition to that, I did add some fascia pieces, just a few. Obviously have not painted or finished them yet, but moving around the layout room, we were causing some of the foam to chip on the top here, and it was starting to get tore up a little bit, so I decided to go ahead and put fascia up in the high traffic areas, and really just to protect the edge of the layout. And then when we get a little bit further along, it'll be painted probably green. I like that dark green, that hunter green look, and it'll get finished up as well. There's a lot going on the layout this month. Probably should clean up a little bit. One of the other big changes you'll notice is that the track plan is now placed on the layout. It's been printed off at 1:1 scale and mocked up. So over here you can see we've got the coal mine in the back. I've got some notes on some things that I want to do here. I'm going to have a couple of hills here in this corner. I'm going to put an interlocking tower here. The branch line actually comes off from this corner of the layout here, goes towards the coal mine before crossing back, crosses over the main layout board, and then heads off into this area, as I mentioned last time. So I've mocked up the outer part of the main line on here, and I've got that crossover in just to see how it works. So we got a little runaround track here. There's a spur here that's going to go out. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to put a scrapyard in this corner. Going to have a road that parallels the outside loop there. We've got the tracks that split off. As you come around to this corner for the 2-track passenger station here on the outside. I love my passenger operations. And then we've got a big 3-track grain elevator back here as well. So, I really recommend printing off the layout in a 1:1 scale just to kind of see how things lay out. Obviously, you can't really tell with all the boxes and tools out right now, but before all that stuff was on here, it was nice to see the track plan moved from a computer screen to the actual layout. I think there's a big difference between what you're looking at on the screen and what you have here in front of you. And some things that might look great on screen don't look good in real life, or vice versa. So I definitely recommend mocking things up before just laying track permanently. So I don't have an update on the turnouts. Still nothing is shipped. No number 6s, no curved turnouts, but getting kind of antsy and wanting to run some trains. So started to drop the outside line here temporarily. Nothing's fixed yet. Just wanted to get some track in and maybe run some trains every once in a while. So that's been placed. I've run the bus wire under the main part of the layout as well. I don't have anything wired up on this track yet. That's really my next step. I've got the feeders dropped for a couple connections off of the bus wire, but nothing has been connected yet. The feeder wire is just dropping down. It's ready to go. So the bus itself also hasn't been connected yet, but the cables are pulled, or the wires, excuse me. You can see them going under the table, under the main line, and they come back through. I just drilled 1/4-inch hole. That was fine to run those 2 cables through. And I've got my suitcase connectors ready to go for the feeders. I've got a location here, and I've got one other over there. Again, just for a temporary setup, 2 feeders should be sufficient. We don't have any turnouts on a loop like this. So, yeah, I run some electrical. That's new. This month, we are enjoying a Working Man's Pilsner from Fountain Square Brewing Company here in Indianapolis. And always good to have a trackside beer. So that's really about all there is to update this month. Progress has slowed down a little bit. Again, I'm still waiting on turnouts, so I don't want to get too far with any kind of permanent track work. And the weather's starting to get nice here, so doing more things outside and upstairs than down in the basement. So things I'm planning to accomplish here recently. Again, we're going to get the electrical hookup so we can run some trains. And then now that the weather has gotten warm enough, I'm going to probably start painting and weathering the flex track. The stock rail color and tie color is not very realistic, so we're going to be weathering up all of the pieces of flex track for permanent installation. And I guess I'll give it another month or so, and if we don't have any updates on the turnouts, then I will probably have to start taking a more serious look at doing my own turnouts, my own turnout construction. Not really what I want to do, but I also don't want to wait forever to get some trains really running around this layout. So we'll see you next time for update number 3.